A girl inadvertently stepped on her boyfriend's phone. The man saw it and was shocked, but directly proposed to break up, because the phone has very valuable things stored in it. He did not care to put on his shoes, barefoot, and rushed into the repair store.
I'll give anyone $10,000 if they can fix my phone.
The people around him looked at me with excitement, because the man was the famous singer John. The clerk was very confused. It was an old antique that needed to be fixed. It's not worth the money. But he didn't know what was stored in his phone. It's what keeps him alive. It turns out that the wedding was 8 years ago. He abandoned his bride to pursue his dream. Now John has become half a star. Money and fame can be whatever he wants, but he can't feel the joy of success. Because I no longer have the face to see the person I love. When I miss her, I turn on my phone and listen to his voice. I thought I would never meet again in my life, but it seems that they are destined to meet. That day he learned on TV. His childhood friend had died in a car accident. When he returned home for the funeral, a blonde girl accidentally bumped into him. They recognized each other immediately. Anna was as beautiful as ever. Only there was a little girl beside her. She said she was sorry and left without looking back. The meeting after 8 years of absence did not bring joy. Instead, it left him with long-lasting peace. After the funeral, he watched Anna from a distance, remembering the sweetness of our time together. He didn't expect that she would come forward when she found out. What he didn't expect was, he took a hard punch himself. It was clearly an emotional outburst. The father came up to him and shook his head. It seems that all this is the son's retribution. He returned to the town after becoming a big star. Everything felt so strange. The coffee in the house became unpalatable. His father was silent. His mother's favorite garden, it had long been abandoned. He was sitting alone in a familiar and strange street. Suddenly he finds Anna walking into a flower store. She didn't want to run away from the mistakes she had made. She didn't want to keep running away from it. Finally found the courage to walk in. When Anna saw him, just a cold glance, he tried to find something to talk about. But Anna said, "You should not have come back at all. Even though you're a big star. But no one in this town wants to talk about you. You've abandoned everyone here." Just then a little girl walks in. She was Anna's daughter. John said he was a friend of her mother's. When he asked the girl her age, Anna, who was standing by, looked very nervous.
I'm really small for my age, and I'm losing my baby.
When he found out that the girl had just turned 7 years old, her eyebrows even look a little like his own. This makes John suspect she is probably his daughter. After the little girl left, Anna did not want to hide anything from her, admitted that it was her child. It turns out that a few days after the wedding was cancelled, I found out that I was pregnant, although I called you numerous times, but never got a response. After that, I decided not to contact you again. The fact that I had a daughter, but the family never mentioned it. He was very angry and questioned his father. However, it was not that his father did not tell him, because for years, he hadn't called him on the phone to see his son. He even went to his concert, but he was stopped by the security guard outside. That's when he finally realized he was not only a complete and utterly ungrateful man, he had also hurt his closest family members. To get Anna's forgiveness, he waited in front of the church every day, but Anna's brother took her out the back door. He had to go to the store, approaching him in the name of buying flowers. John says he doesn't ask for forgiveness, but the right to see his daughter. Anna finally gave in. The daughter was confused, because her mother never liked to talk about her father. But today she wanted to tell herself about him. She was very surprised by her daughter's words.
The guy from outside the church and the flower shop, right? You two weren't exactly subtle, if you know what I mean.
That she had already guessed the identity of the man. Anna told her daughter, "Father didn't abandon you in the first place. It's just that after she left, she didn't know that your mother gave birth to you."
We should invite him over for dinner. Might help him process the news.
This is the first time the three of them. It's the first time they had dinner together, and the first time they bought a present for their daughter. A huge teddy bear. But the daughter didn't seem to like it.
It's very big.
The uncle even laughed out loud, and what he gave Anna was a diamond necklace. Diamonds represent love. This made Anna very embarrassed, because he didn't think about whether to accept this love again. After dinner, her daughter showed her the bunny she had raised, and she said that her mother showed me the song you sang.
So I guess we should get to know each other or something.
Yeah. I like that.
Why don't you pick me up after school tomorrow?
Anna gave him back the necklace when she left. It made him feel bad about himself. He hadn't taken good care of them in the past few years. When he came back, he also failed to do his duty as a father. Luckily, Anna agreed her request to pick up her daughter from school. But as soon as he received her, her daughter was very resistant to his convertible sports car, because it was too dangerous. And she gave a reason.
Do you know the stats on surviving an accident in a convertible?
As a result, he had to take a taxi back with his daughter. To his surprise, this time with his daughter went very well. She was in the kitchen watching her grandfather cook. Father and daughter were eating chocolate together. He found a guitar in his room. John played a song for her. The girl lay on the table and listened quietly. At that moment, the grandfather suddenly burned his hand. He put down the guitar and rushed over to check. The girl was curious and picked up the guitar. She played the same notes as before.
That's a lot of gumbo.
This made John and Grandpa very surprised. He found out that his daughter had not learned guitar before. This innate talent. John was very excited. He said he would buy him a new guitar. This time together made the little girl very happy. He told Anna his daughter has an amazing talent for the guitar. Anna was also surprised by this discovery. Of course, it also created an opportunity for the two of them to make up. John taught his daughter how to play the guitar. She listened in fascination. Together they cleaned up the long-abandoned garden. They played and played together. They held their daughter above their heads while they went shopping. And the father found that the coffee machine at home. I don't know when the coffee machine at home has been renewed. I thought this time I could slowly integrate into the family. But because of an accident, he chose to run away again. His daughter choked on her food. Her face was so red, but she didn't even know it. Luckily, her uncle found her in time. Everyone was anxiously gathered around the girl, sitting for the girl to give first aid, but she was frozen on the side, helpless to do anything.